Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are back on the Red Skies update dev server, and it's time to have a look at the Yak-28B. This is a new Soviet aircraft that has come into the game in Red Skies, and it is a rank 6 battle rating 9.3 jet bomber. We normally don't get a ton of jet bombers, at least recently in the game, and I'm actually really excited about this one. It looks really fun to use, it has some pretty interesting bomb loads, and also it means that the Tu-14T will actually go lower when it comes to its modification costs, meaning that this not very good vehicle can actually be spaded without too much of an effort. So the Yak-28B comes in pretty high BR, and there is a real reason for it. It isn't just because of the fact that this thing is armed with a cannon, it is also the fact that it has access to afterburning engines, and not just that, countermeasures. This thing actually gets a lot of pieces of the puzzle which many bombers don't get to stay alive. If you've played the Vautour recently, you'll know how missile friendly that platform is, meaning that you'll get a ton of missiles just chucked at you. It's very hard to defend against them, especially if there's stuff like AIM-9Gs from Harriers, and then you just die. Well, the Yak-28, it can just pop a few flares, and there you go, off it goes. This thing is powered by two Tumansky R11AF300 afterburning engines with 5,230 kgf of afterburner thrust. This means that, well, it's pretty quick. Then also, it's made out of fuel, not too much of a surprise. It has a gunner and also a pilot here, which means that it pretty much has a bombardier. When you have a look at its modifications, the flares and chaff are rank 1, which is quite nice, and it also has a terrible starting bomb load of 8 100 kilos, which is not going to make it very fun to stock grind, but it does get access to the 3,000 kilo bomb, which is very fun, especially in ground realistic. Also the Fab 250s and the 1500 and also the 500s as well for general grinding. I feel like a lot of people are going to use this to grind out other jets, and I'm fine with it. You know, if people want to play that way and just kind of bomb bases or bomb units, why not? You know, have a little bit of fun with it. It does also get a G-suit, which is pretty good. It means that you can turn this thing a little bit better, and also the new boosters as well. Hopefully this thing doesn't have a ridiculous rip area. I think it should be okay though, since it's built quite sturdy. Also, at the same time, the Yak-28B, a ton of these variants were actually made, or there was a ton of variants of this plane, so we may even see some in the future which have slightly different roles, such as interceptor roles, and they would be able to carry missiles. It also has this wonderful bulge on the bottom of it. I think that is something to do with some kind of radar, but I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that. And also, it gets access to a 23mm. This is its main offensive armament when dealing with planes. Understand though, it only has 50 rounds, so it's not too useful. It's pretty much, if you're in that situation where you need to use it, well, use it. But apart from that, you know, it's only 50 rounds. The majority of planes which have this much ammunition won't be too useful at actually using it. It also has these tiny wheels on the wings to keep it up, and also the launch angle, as you can see, is very aggressive in this machine, meaning that the front wheel is a lot higher compared to the back wheel, which is definitely a lowrider. So when you're taking off, make sure not to bump that tail on the ground and make it go flying. It also has this wonderful spear on the front of it, obviously for aerodynamics, and for me it's always nice to see a plane with a spear that aggressive, because generally you don't get to see them. Armor wise, it does actually have quite a lot. Obviously the 2 seats for the pilot and the gunner slash bombardier. Then it has 90mm of bulletproof glass, hopefully this will help it against flak, and then the 6mm piece of steel which is there as well to keep it going. It doesn't have any camouflages, unfortunately, but hopefully that changes since this machine was used quite a lot, the Yak-28B, and also many others as well at the same time. So this thing has survivability in the form of the flares. It has speed behind it as well. This is not a slow machine at 1100 kilometers an hour. Yes, in 9.3 you do have a decent amount of supersonic machines, but the majority of them are actually on the Soviet chariot side of things, which this thing is going to be fighting with. So generally that just means that this will be fighting alongside some of the speed demons that are about the place. It also, of course, has access to a ballistic computer, so we'll get to see what that looks like. If it's anything like the Phantom one with the arcade bomb marker, good luck in ground. You're going to get a 3,000 kilo bomb every so often, and overpressure exists. How beautiful are these engines, by the way? And also, one thing that is interesting is a lot of the 28 series could actually use a JATO. I'm wondering if this is one of them, or if it's going to be different. Oh no, it has the bomb marker. Oh no, no, no. Oh, you dirty scoundrel. Oh god. Alright, well, welcome to a Christmas present. You're basically going to have every time this thing gets spawned in ground realistic. It is at least quite a large plane, so that means that it's going to be quite easy to hit out the air. Maneuverability isn't actually that bad in it compared to a lot of other vehicles, but I really don't think it's a dogfighter. This is not a machine to try your dogfighting skills at. You know, the Votor already struggles quite a lot with that idea. Oh my god, you can see just by dropping that bomb the amount of weight that is lost on this machine, meaning that it can go a lot faster. Unfortunately, the cockpit isn't put in yet. Hopefully it will be. And it also goes against... oh my. It also goes against one of the kind of key tenets of a lot of these Soviet vehicles. It doesn't have any gunners. There's no gunner in the back. You know, it's pretty much just built for straight line speed. It doesn't have an air brake either, so if you're going too fast, you've got to be a little bit careful. It does have, of course, the spikes on the wings as well. You can see the wobble. This thing can go Mach 1, so it is technically a supersonic aircraft, at least in game right now. But if you pull too hard, then you're going to lose all of that speed. It's very hard to rip this thing, because a lot of vehicles are kind of like this as well. Instead of actually ripping, they just turn really, really slowly, and that's basically what this machine does too. It's not a fantastically great turner. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a bomber, so you shouldn't really expect that. But because of the fact that it has all of the countermeasures, it means that you can, you know, get rid of. It means that you can easily get rid of stuff such as the missiles that are on you, even in ground realistic or air realistic. And of course, when you're in 4,000 meters bombing with the 3,000, you don't have to be terribly accurate, but the fact that you get the CCIP along with all of the other things just really makes it so easy to use this altogether. You can see the explosion down there from the 3000 right there, and always fun to use. The 23 is a nice little gimmick, but I don't think it'll get used too much. I think mainly people will use it just to try and maybe fend off a fighter if they're really struggling at some point. And the wing rip does seem to be around 1100 kilometers an hour, at least around this level. But this is, at least it seems like, the fastest bomber in the game. I don't think there is one vehicle which is more dedicated as a bomber than this, which is faster. Obviously you have stuff like the Phantom, which carries a higher bomb load, but to me this is the new kind of just pseudo grinder that people will use. And the defensive capabilities are just so nice as well. I mean, I know a lot of people who enjoy the Buccaneer. I know a lot of people who've had fun times playing it, and I feel like they're going to transfer over to this one pretty easily and just be able to have a good time in it. It's just a lovely looking aircraft. I can't wait to see more variants of it. I can't wait to see how people use this, whether they use it as a support fighter or whether they use it just to go home or to go to space. It's definitely going to be one of those interesting things, and I really want to see this cockpit as well. I want to see what it looks like inside. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank BRFC, Swollen Ostrich, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Conte Baraka, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Lafouche, Bareen and Samuel Schlick for supporting the channel.